One of the biggest questions that I keep getting asked is, what am I doing to practice for Battlefield 6, for vehicles, for helicopters, for jets? While I do think there is a lot to going back to Battlefield 4 and playing some of those, I think you get a lot of it in Battlefield 2042 as well. Plus, you can go into Portal and set custom rules and everything, which I will show you some server codes at the end for. First, I want to go through all of the settings for both helicopter as well as jet, and then we'll fly around a little bit, and I'll tell you some of what I'm going for. To start, what you need to know, general settings for mouse and key vehicles. A lot of these can still apply to controller as well. Crank the field of view to the absolute maximum. You want to be able to see as much as you can in the peripheral vision. I also turned my gunner aim sensitivity down, just in case you're ever in the gunner seat. Heli control sensitivity, I boosted this up. You can kind of separate it from the jets a little bit. I'm playing 800 DPI, and you can see my sensitivity through here. I also prefer third-person aircraft camera roll off. That'll make it so the camera is always level with the horizon as you're flying, especially in jets. I don't know if it makes too big of a difference in helis, but I like that. The other thing is you can decouple the tank turret aiming from turning. So if you're ever in the gunner seat in any of the vehicles, it doesn't matter where the vehicle is actually turning. It can be a little jarring in a tank if you're in first person, being able to tell where you're turning, but I've liked this so far. Just a couple general vehicle settings for you there. Now, going over to the actual keybinds, we'll start with the, let's start with the jet. I set my vehicle exit for Y on this. Just put it far away from E so you don't accidentally hit that. I have caps lock set for the full map. Honestly, I accidentally hit this one too. You could leave it as M. Just checking the map is the key to figuring out where vehicles are. So if you're flying off in the distance, you don't even need to turn around. You could just hit the map, look at where any of the pinged tanks or anything are, and spot it is the key. I also set ping to back on my mouse button, in addition to Q, although I don't really use Q, and then be able to turn the radio off. I don't know how to default keep the radio off because I hate that, but there it is. The only thing that I really change about the jet is pitch up is spacebar, pitch down, or vice versa is left alt. It's going to depend how you set up your inversion or not inversion, but I have it set so the jet is inverted controls. I may switch this to rifle sensitivity, as I will show you in the helicopter in a second, but for the most part, this has been working okay for me, and I'm just keeping this. So I am inverted. If I hit spacebar, it'll essentially infinitely turn me. You don't need to keep on cranking the mouse over and over again. This is a must, whether you're going to play inverted or not inverted on mouse and keyboard. I also debound, of course, or unbound spacebar for fire. And that's pretty much it. Most of this is pretty much the same. I also have the afterburner separately bound from W. I saw some people mix it in this game. I don't think it's necessarily worth it, but I like to have the more fine-tuned control, and especially for 6, I don't think you can do the same thing there. Now, onto the helicopters. The general binds that I have here, exit vehicle, I put it all the way onto backslash because I never want to accidentally get out of the vehicle. So it's super far away button, but I saw ping for back mouse, radio, oh, no big deal there. This is where it gets really different. And the idea for rifle aim is that if I go up, down, left, or right, it's just like I'm shooting an assault rifle and aiming with that. It's purely everything on my mouse is for aiming, so it ideally makes it their easier targets. I'm not the first person to invent this. I'm just going off of what a bunch of other of the best helicopter pilots use. In addition to this, I have yaw right for spacebar. If I was you, you might want to set this as left alt instead of spacebar. That way, because right now I'm having a difficulty where I push spacebar thinking I'm pitching up in my jet, but then it's yaw right in the heli. If you just have them both as pitch up as your backup, might be better. I might change this. I'm going to test it, but nonetheless, you want to be able to yaw. This is your turning to the side with shift and space or left alt. So that way you could just turn at your max speed without having to keep on moving the mouse, similar to what you're trying to do with the jet. Pitch up and pitch down is purely bound to the mouse. That does mean, though, that then if I want to do like a flip or something, I do have to keep on doing it. But realistically, I'm not doing front rolls or back rolls in a helicopter anyways. And then roll right and roll left when you're actually flying and you just kind of keep tilting back and forth. You'll see I'll do that. I'll just roll to the side and then keep on applying upwards lift and keep hitting that throttle and kind of just keep moving myself sideways. That's me rolling only with A and D. Before that was on the mouse left and right. Now it is purely the only way that I can roll is with A and D. And I was a bit concerned about that at first. I've definitely gotten the hang of it. Really, really, really nice. I like that a lot. I also tried the assisted flight. I can't... It doesn't seem to do anything for me, but probably best not to use that anyways. You want to just keep control. Then I unbound fire. So I'm already in the heli, so we'll start there and we'll continue that. But I'll just show you this. So when I'm moving my mouse here, it is just... It's only my mouse that is triggering this again. So I can just go perfect aim. The one thing I will say, when I'm trying to turn right, you can see it's a little slow. So what I'll do if I really need to speed it up or turn quickly is I'll roll at the same time as I turn. So I'll move my mouse right and I'll hit A at the same time to roll me over, and then I'll correct with D. Or vice versa. Roll with D here, correct with A. Roll with D, correct with A. If I really need to switch targets quick, but for the most part, I'm not doing that. If I'm in a little fight here, I'm just going to be moving the mouse, trying to jump from target to target. This is what I'm personally working on the most. Now, yeah, so then I'll probably roll A, and this is what I was talking about earlier. I'll just keep floating this way, keep trying to pepper. I like this minigun the best for infantry, and then I have the rocket pods also super good for infantry. The AGM just didn't seem that great to me. It took so many rockets to actually kill ground vehicles. I just mostly avoid ground vehicles and just try and go for infantry kills with this. And then if I really need to, I'll hit a F3 seat swap with my rocket, and then I'll go back in. Of course, I have AI in here, but that doesn't really matter. Just for a regular game, though. Rocket pods, flares. Wait until you're actually locked before you hit flares, of course. Just some basic things to consider there. Is there anything else with helis that I'm forgetting, chat? I think that's pretty good. I don't want this video to be too long. I just want to get to some of the basics for you guys. Let's go see if I can get a jet off the rip, and we can. So I'm going to go with the Warthog. This is what I've been practicing more in. But now my controls are inverted on this. So when I push up, I'm actually going down, and when I go down, I'm actually going up. And the difference is, versus the default controls even of the other one, is I'm hitting A and D to strafe to the left and right here, which this makes it a little harder to actually track targets. And there probably is a good reason to go double in where you're playing rifle aim on both of them. The biggest thing that I found with the jets, though, is when you're trying to aim, make sure you're actually flat on your wings. If you're tilted like this and then you're in first person, you can see here, but if you're zoomed in here, it's really weird trying to hit A and D and then correct for up and down all at the same time. It just does not register in the head well, I think. But the good thing is with this is you do a lot more actual rolls. If you go to the top of the flight space, of course, you stall out, so you can see my speed in the left hand there, the kilometers per hour. You're targeting about 300 for your ideal turn speed. 330, 300 to 330 or so, if you can pull it off. But you see, I'll probably drop speed. I like to use the AGM for this thing as well to try and find my target as I'm approaching. It's really hard to dogfight in any of these games, though, and even more so in 6. It's crazy because of how fast you die. You can kind of get away with it. This is not the dogfighting vehicle. This is more of like an anti-ground vehicle, the Warthog. But for the most part, like, ideally in 6, what I even try to do and what I'm trying to get in the good habit of here is I'm just holding D to kind of give a little strafe like this, and then I can free look. You can only do A and D yaw while you're in free look. You can't control anything else. You can't do space shift, anything else. It's only yaw that you can adjust while you're in free look. In 6, you also get free look while you're in third person. In this game, you have to actually be in the cockpit, and it's kind of slow, but I might look at the battlefield a bit, try to assess it. More so, again, in 6, I would do that. In this, you can also just hit the map and look at where vehicles are. There's 2 vehicles in between D and E, so it can get a pretty good strafe there. But it's mostly just hitting spacebar, hit your flips. I might tap S a little bit to make sure my speed is slowing while I'm going. Yeah, see, I did not have flat wings when I went in there, so it was all over the place trying to aim. But yeah, that's mostly what I've been working on. Those are the controls that I'm using. Hopefully this is some extra insight for you guys who have been trying to fly yourselves or trying to learn. This actually is going to be a pretty good game to learn on, I do think. I also just switched my keyboard, so I'm doubly chalked on accidentally hitting the wrong buttons, but we'll get there. The other thing that I want to do... Yo, Silk's in the chat, too. That's a true person you need to go watch a tutorial from. But that's who I got most of my tips from here, I will say. I still got to watch his full... I got to watch your full insane Warthog gameplay as well. But hopefully by the time 6 comes out, I've got my mouse and key control set, and I've got my flying at least to the point where I'm very confident. And I know what I'm doing. And hopefully you guys will be too. Good luck.